Okay, guys. So today we are doing citrix policies, and it's a very important topic. Citrix policies and citrix policies. We need to work with citrix policies because in order to control the number of sessions, in order to control how users connect to these, so citrix policies is very important in understanding citrix in any environment. Citrix policies. Have we ever heard of policies? Yes, we heard of policies in GPO. Guys, one word for policy in everything. VMware, Citrix, SCCM, Active Directory. One word is control. You use policies to control something in IT. So in IT, policies are used in everywhere. So even in real life, it's a way we can control. Control. One word is control. Now, in Citrix especially, we can control what? We can control how many users are connecting to Citrix servers, what time they can connect to Citrix servers, in which timing loads are high, and you want to users connect to us a few servers and not to other servers. So basically, with control, we can control users, user connections. We can control user connections, servers access, load on servers, user sessions, and etc. So how long a certain connection should be on a Citrix server? Once the user is connected, so user session is you have a user, and user needs to open a Word file. User needs to open a Word file. Thank you. When is Raza? Anybody knows? He is not coming. Raza? He lives far somewhere? No. Oh. So he missed the last because of the car? No, that was there is another reason. Because no way. नहीं यार. सर आप पब्लिश में क्या करें भाग जाता आपको. Oh man, नहीं यार. एक दिन मिस करना इसके अंदर ऐसा है जैसे आप जैसे क्या डर रहा है. पास हो गया, फेल हो गया. फेल हो गया, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कुर्सी पे खड़ा होना पड़ेगा. इसी बात हो जाता है. हम पहले के पैसे वो प्रोफेसर को पढ़ देते पास करा देंगे. पैसे देके प्रोफेसर को मार देंगे. Okay, guys, Citrix policies are very easy to understand. Since we do understand, for us, it's an easier way to understand as we understand group policies. Now, even in Citrix policies, same thing. We control. So, example of control is this user needs to access Word application. So, user goes through that same process. User connects to either web interface or either connect to either the services side, so it can connect to web interface or a services side. In both cases, user can get to this application. Now, in both cases, let's say user is connected here through ICA. This is ICA because direct connection is ICA. Now, user used this Word application, let's say for 10 minutes, and then user is not using it. So with Citrix policy, by default, Citrix won't automatically disconnect the user. So every user who opens their application will be open as long as it is open on user, as long as user's machine is on. Now, through policies, we can control if the user idle time, idle time is, let's say, 15 minutes, you can say disconnect the session. So things like these we can control through policies. So as soon as user is not using for 15 minutes a certain thing, now why would you need to do that? Because it's a concurrent licenses. You have limited licenses, more users. Or if you have equal licenses, then you can leave them open. So guys, it's things like these that we can connect through Citrix policies. Other than this, for example, you have some users, so this is another example, you have some users who need to connect to a certain application only to a certain server. So if this user, let's say, opens a Skype application, among these all Citrix servers, it must be connected to this server because this is a fast server. Or you want to say that this application always opens on this server. So again, you can use a policy that user whenever open this, it should through ICA protocol, it is connected to a certain server. So it's things like these. Now, since we do understand what policies are, so first level of understanding is understanding what policies can do. Policies can do all this. Now, other than this, guys, second thing to understand, Citrix policies starting in 6.5. Are you doing the lab? No, no. क्या कहते हैं कि पद से बदनाम बुरा Fortunately, जो पकड़ा जाए अच्छी बात होती है क्योंकि you learn a lesson and then teacher can pick you easily. हैं? कौन दिखता है जगजीत से? देखिए दो ATMs हो गए आज, एक तो बद से बदनाम बुरा और एक चोर की दाढ़ी में तिनका. अच्छा आप नहीं करते, कोई और सर ये भी तो करते हैं, इनको नहीं बोलते. Okay, our Citrix policy, first level of understanding is what policies are. Second level of understanding is that starting 6.5, now Citrix policies are incorporated with GPOs. So MS GPOs. So Citrix policies can now work with GPOs. So now you can create Citrix policies within. So Citrix policies can be created from App Center. So when you create a Citrix policy from App Center, so we're going to see how do you create a policy in App Center. So actually, we can see that right now. So if we go to here, you can go to your Citrix server, and right here you have Citrix policies here. So if you create Citrix policy or manage Citrix policy right from here in App Center, this is you are managing, deploying Citrix policies from App Center. You're not doing it through group policies. So they are managed different. Although the same policies you can manage through GPM as well, which is group policy management. So Citrix policies here, they can be managed through App Center, or Citrix policies can be managed through GPM as well. So GPM, Group Policy Management Console. They can be managed through both. Now, what is the difference? Same policy can be managed through both of them. Guys, the big difference is that if Citrix policy is managed through App Center, or you create it through App Center, you're deploying through App Center, this policy will only be applied to all the users, computers, and servers within the farm, within one Citrix farm. So this is the scope is, you can say the scope is same farm, same Citrix farm. Whereas when the same policy is applied through GPM, now it can be deployed in other farms and other domains as well. So it has a wider scope. It has a wider scope. So this can be multi-farm. This can be multi-farm. So it has a wider scope. What is the recommendation? Recommendation now is that everybody would prefer to use GPM to manage or create Citrix policies other than App Center. You can do the same thing on both sides, but it is recommended, it is more liked that it should be done through GPM. So this is one thing. Now, second thing here is, so now we know what is a Citrix policy. Citrix policy is to control something. user session control, server control, load balancing control. It could be security control. It could be anything. And I'm going to show you how many policies are there. And then the second thing, these policies can be managed through either App Center or they can be GPM as well. Now, the second thing here is, if you look at it here, within policies, so within policies, by default, there are, so if you go to policies here, number one, there is information. Information just shows you that this is a policies, number one. And this is just an information screen. Now, here in policies, you have two types of policies there. So in Citrix, okay, hold on. Just before going there.
So what is the 6.6? Oh, that's the question.
Yeah, Citrix 6. Guys, before going here, one more information that we need to remember here. So Citrix policy, and GPO precedence. Now, what is precedence? Precedence is when many policies are mixed together, which one has more priority and how do they apply? How do they apply these all different policies? For example, we do remember in GPM, in GPM, it was what? SDOU, remember? SDO. It was SD. Actually, it was LSDOU. LSDOU, which means that on any computer, first of all, whenever a computer starts, so if this is a computer and this computer starts, first of all, local security policy will be applied. After that, site policy will be applied, and then domain policy will be applied, and then OU policy will be applied, and the last was that last out wins. So which means whatever is here will be override by this, and this will be override by this, and this all will be override by this. So last is OU. So OU was the most powerful policy. Guys, when Citrix policies are combined with the same, all you need to remember here, so we're going to say Citrix policy. If you add Citrix policies to this equation, we are going to see that you have same computer. It is local, then site, then domain, and then OU. And Citrix policy is right here, LCSDOU. So in between this, here is Citrix. So first in all computers, local policy will be applied. Local, Citrix, and then on top of this site, on top of which domain, and then OU. So now it is LCS. So you can remember this is LCSDOU. So if you don't have Citrix, then it is just LCSDOU. Whereas when you have Citrix, after local Citrix policy will be applied. And after that, site policy and domain and OU policy will be applied. Now, guys, these all policies can work. These all policies can work if there is no conflict. But if there is a conflict, then this will win over this. This will win over this. If there is no conflict, then you can have many policies working on one computer. Do we understand this fact that if there is no conflict, so this is doing its own setting, 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 they can all work together. But the only thing here is that if the same setting is being changed in different levels, then this will win. Now let's see this. For example, if they don't have any conflict. In no conflict, so in local security policy, let's say there is password policy. Actually, on local security, most of the time nothing is there by default. If you don't make any changes, this is basically empty. Now this is empty. Actually, let's start with this. This is empty. Then on site, mostly network type of settings are there, and most of the time this is also empty. And most of the time your default domain policy is sitting here, default domain policy. We remember that, right? Default domain policy. And one thing that in default domain policy will be applied is the password policy. Password policy will be, it is there and it will be applied on all machines. So this is why when all machine starts, there was nothing here. There was nothing here. But as soon as they are joined, this password policy will be applied to this computer. And mostly if you don't have OU policy, there is no policy. So most of the time in a default network, in our network actually, in our network, the only thing that is being applied at the moment is this. Password. Now same thing goes here. You have a DDP policy. Now DDP policy has nothing to do with citrix policy. Now in citrix policy, you are saying, let's say this policy. When the user connects, word and idle time is 15. So you set up this policy on citrix. You're saying that user idle is equal to 15 and disconnect.
After 15 minutes.
Yes, 15. If there is no if user doesn't make any changes, it should disconnect the session. So basically, okay. you are freeing up this session.
No key press till 15 and disconnect.
Yes. So let's say this policy is here. Now, guys, this policy is not being in conflict anywhere. So it will go very clean. As soon as the machine starts, local security policy, nothing is there. Oh, citrix policy, okay, citrix policy is there. Now, citrix policy is there. As soon as next time user opens any application, then this will be applied. If user is not opening any citrix application, this won't apply. Do we understand that? Right? It's very simple to understand. So citrix, this is applied. Now here site, domain, and OU. So till this part, it is easier to understand. Is this easier to understand?
Yes, sir. In both citrix and GPM, so if there is a conflict, then the last win.
Last out wins. That is for sure. Last out will win.
In both cases.
In both cases. But then your next question will be, okay, citrix is sitting here, which means citrix is only applied in one level. So how would it get into a conflict? I mean, it will never get into a conflict if there is only one policy. Guys, this is where we need to understand that now citrix works on all levels. Citrix works with GPM. Now we can have a citrix policy. We can have a citrix policy like this. So basically, you have, so I'm going to make the same thing. You have local, then you have citrix, then you have site.
So we can reverse the policy like we.
No. I'm not talking about reverse. I'm just talking about normal policies here. So let's see here. Now my citrix policy is sitting here. Now citrix policy was applied here. First local, then citrix, then site, then domain. Now guys, if you have, now this citrix policy, this is coming from App Center. This is coming from App Center because this is a special citrix policy. In this case, you're not even using GPM. In this case, if you go like this, then you're not using GPM. But when you start using GPM and do the citrix policies, when you start doing what? GPM and start using, guys, then it will look like this. In your OU level, there will be a citrix policy settings inside. In your domain level, there will be a citrix policy inside. In your site level, you can have citrix policy inside. And even on your not local level, on these all levels. So now there is a chance of conflict. But then again, you need to remember that what is the big difference if you do it this way or you do it this way. Guys, this one has a smaller scope, only in one farm. But if you apply citrix policy from GPM, this is all GPM stuff. GPM. If you go with citrix policy through GPM, then now you have a wider scope and you have a wider levels as well. So this is why it is now recommended to do all your policies through GPM. So when you have, so if you're not doing it from GPM, now let me show you the same concept here. Let's look at this. So in this, I am in App Center. Within App Center, what I have is I have a policy section, and in this I can create policies. Let's say so there are policies on computer level, on your user level. On computer level, user level. In both cases, there is only one policy that is known as unfiltered policy. Now, guys, unfiltered policy is, in our words, we call it a default policy. So this is a default policy given to automatically by Citrix. So unfiltered means it is a default policy that applies to all servers. And basically, in this policy, there is no settings. How many settings?
No.
No setting. How do we know? Guys, this active setting is empty. If there would have been any settings, you should see that setting right here in summary screen or in settings screen. So there is nothing in summary screen. Later on, so basically this unfiltered policy in user or computer, it is doing nothing. It's empty. Now this is one thing. So if I make any changes to this is basically you're making changes to this policy. You're not making changes to this level, this level, this level. You're only making changes to this policy that exists in App Center. Now let's see. Let me open GPM here. Guys, everyone open GPM from there. So once you go on a Citrix server, no, from here, from Citrix. From Citrix, go to administrative tool on your Citrix server and then go to GPM. Once you open GPM on Citrix server, then on a Citrix server, you will see Citrix added to each policy. So here it is. Did I open it? Okay, so okay, it's trying to open. In your case, it's open. Okay, I'm gonna go to the second server. Sometime it has the that hotfix issue. So second Citrix server. What happened? What happened? Oh man. Okay, no, Ahmed did said mashallah 100 times, and he did. Oh man. Okay, guys, here. Okay, guys, here. Let's look at this. Let's look at this here. So go. Okay, here. Now in this, first of all, on Citrix server in GPM, you would see this extra thing here, which is called Citrix modeling wizard. It won't work at the moment because we don't have policies here. Let's go down to local scanf.local. Now within scanf.local, I want you to see default domain policy. So within default domain policy, do you have this?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. So default domain policy, let's look at first default domain policy. In default domain policy, right click on this and click edit. As soon as you click edit and you go to the policies tab, and in both cases, so edit, policies. So only in this case, guys, it's actually trying to load the Citrix modules. Now,
It's empty. Yes. Oh.
no, you should see the same screen what you saw in App Center.
Yes, sir.
So it is exactly the same. Now, once you see that screen, it means same settings can be done. Whatever you do is here. It can be done on this level, on this. So for now, we are on domain level here. So on this, you will see the same settings.
In domain controller, you can see, but do not apply.
What?
The domain controller.
Yes.
You can see the GPM as well.
In domain control, no, in domain control. So open now GPM in domain controller. Let's see. It won't be there.
Where App Center found?
Guys, I'm gonna quickly troubleshoot this. So in real life, if you have the same issue, guys, try troubleshooting it. So for example, this is I would say Citrix server GPM takes long time, and
service restart. GPM service restart.
what? क्या?
GPM service restart.
उसको restart करें तो ठीक हो जाएगा. Okay, let's try it before I go into this. So actually it opened. So next time when it takes time, I'll restart. So guys, here, this is on Citrix server. This is on Citrix server, and within Citrix server, if you go to Citrix policies, okay, I'll go restart the service. Did I say log off? So services, oh, it opened it actually.
There's no Citrix policies in domain controller. There's no Citrix policy.
I'm going to show you how to do it. Guys, so the main thing that I want to show you is, first of all, today, guys, we started with policies. Policies means control. What do you want to control? I want to control user sessions. I want to control people who connect to servers. I want to control everything in Citrix. So everything in Citrix can be controlled through Citrix policies. Now, when it comes to policies, guys, after 6.5, before even 6.5, people wanted to have a direct connection between group policies and Citrix, and there used to be many issues between the two types of policies. So then in 6.5, they now integrated Citrix policies with GPM, and you can see it right here. So this is GPM open, and in under policies, you would see Citrix policy. And not only in one policy, in any policy that you create. Let's say you want to create a new policies on any OU level, Let's go. So let me close this. So I'll go to any OU level. Let's say I have a OU called Toronto. So guys, let's create a. So I cannot create a OU here called Toronto. I need to go back to ADUC. And I don't have ADUC here on Citrix. Where should I go? I should go to a DC. So on DC, I can go here. Let's go to ADUC and create 3 OUs called Toronto, Montreal, and Toronto, Montreal, and let's say Vancouver. So let's create 3 OUs here. So I'm creating a OU called Toronto. If you already have them, it's fine. Montreal. So I'm going to create these in my machine. If you don't have them, just create them quickly. Vancouver. So I have 3 OUs here now. So since I have 3 OUs, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my Citrix server, and here I'm going to refresh the screen, and now I can see 3 OUs in GPM as well. If you see them in GPM, it's fine. Now on Toronto level, I just want to say all the client computers that are in Toronto level, I want to apply the idle time policy. I want to say if idle time reaches a certain time, if idle time reaches of 15 minutes. So again, one more time, all I did was created OUs in ADUC here, and then I went to Citrix and just refreshed that. Then refreshed the GPM. Then in GPM, you just refresh. If you already have Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, it should automatically be there. Now here, let's say I want to create a Citrix policy under Toronto. If you need to create a Citrix policy under Toronto, let's create a new GPO in here. Huh?
Right click and create a GPO.
And right click, I'm going to say create a GPO in domain and link it to this OU. So right click on Toronto in GPM and just say create a GPO in domain and link it here. So here we're going to name it Citrix. We're going to name it Citrix idle time. Idle time. Citrix idle time.
In server 1, we are creating in GPM?
So wherever, I mean GPM is a GPM, either you are on server 1 or server 2, wherever it can do it on Toronto OU. Which server are you on?
I'm on server 1.
So just server 1, open GPM. On server 1, open GPM. Is this happening? Yes. Name it. What is the name? Citrix idle pack. Okay, so guys, new policy. Now here we need to understand, guys. Here we need to understand one thing, and that is I am going to create a policy on OU level, and that's the only way to create a policy on OU. Other than this, you can't do it. I mean, the only other way. So, how many ways you can create Citrix policies? One, through App Center, but then you cannot go on OU level. It's limited to Citrix farm only. Yes, you can apply it to users, you can apply it to computers, you can apply it to worker groups, because whatever is existing in App Center. But guys, when it is incorporated with GPM, now I can apply Citrix policy on anywhere. So now let's find a Citrix policy. So
with GPM, we can also assign policies to worker groups as well?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can, if worker groups are connected to OUs. So yes. So here, guys, right click on this new policy and edit. Right click on this new policy and edit. And as soon as you edit it, what we do is we will expand the computer policy, and within expanding the computer policy, so you right click on that policy and edit, it should open a GPME, and as soon as it is open, then we go into Citrix. So you select Citrix, and within Citrix, go into settings. So I'll let it open, and while it is opening, I'll show you that other screen. So here, I'm already here in my other screen. So other one is still. Now within this screen, all you need to go here in set. So first of all, you need to decide that should it be computer policy or user policy. Now, since this is under computer, these all policies are applying to computer. So here you don't have to decide. But why am I saying you need to decide? Because in App Center, if you go to App Center, here you see that policies can be applied to users or computers. So here it's a little bit different, screen. So let's go back to in here. What I'm going to do is we are going to create a new. We can edit the default policy. Let's edit the default policy and see what is there. So as soon as you click edit on this, let me see if that is open. Yes, it is open. So I'm going to do that here. Yeah. Okay, let's edit. This is not good. What, is it taking time for anybody else?
No.
Restart. Okay, in the meantime, while my machines are starting, guys, now let's see how can you bring this Citrix policies console on a domain controller. By default, it's not on a domain controller. If you want to, let's open GPM on a domain controller. So if you can open GPM on a domain controller, so on your DC, go to DC and open GPM from there. As soon as you open GPM from here, in this, you don't have any Citrix components. And I think the reason in my case, I have that thing, it is slow because of its loading Citrix component. It might need a restart. So here, I can see that here, if I right click on any policy, so I'll select domain, And here I think I'm not logged in. So make sure that you're logged in with administrator. In my case, it's not letting me edit because I'm not logged in with administrator. So I'm gonna log off and switch user. And here I'm gonna say so I'm logging in again. I'll go to administrative tools. I'll go to GPM, and within GPM, let's see if I go to domain, and now I right click on domain, go to edit, and you go to policies, guys. Here I don't have any Citrix extensions. Here we don't have any Citrix extensions.
On default, that is added because you are not.
This is what I just said here. Hold on. Look at this. Saqib, look at this. If you click on start, do you see something else here? नहीं. When you start, oh yes, it automatically goes there. I don't know. So guys here, look at this. Now, in order to bring Citrix, if you need to bring Citrix here, all you need to do is this. You can mount the Citrix CD on this. First of all, Citrix CD is mounted because we had the licensing installed on this, right? So if it is mounted, all you need to do is go to Citrix CD. What is the goal? The goal is to install Citrix management extensions. So here you can go to the CD, and within the CD there is something called administration. Within administration, you can go to delivery services console, and within this you can go to setup, and within setup there is something called Citrix group policy management 64-bit. So this is the setup you need to run on a domain controller in order to bring Citrix policies inside a GPM. So again, one more time, what do you need to bring? You need to go to.
It's just like we bring the management control on client.
It is just like bringing, but this will not bring the complete management console, just the Citrix policy extensions. I mean, you can install a complete management console as well. This will bring that as well. But here you're just doing Citrix group policy management. You double click on this.
So after resources, you have to go.
So look at the screen. Look at the screen. Where are you?
Administration, delivery service.
हैं? बड़ी जल्दी नमाज याद आ रही है आपको? माशाल्लाह, इसको तो ईमान की गर्मी कहते हैं. अभी कोई मूवी चल रही होती तो रात 12 बजे तक ना याद आता. हाँ, नहीं मैं समझ. नहीं वो आप नहीं है, वो शैतान होता. यानी अभी देखे ना, अभी हम एक काम की चीज कर रहे हैं तो अर्ली वक्त में याद आ रही है, पहले वक्त में पढ़ने का स्वभाव. यार मैं जो है ना वो क्या कहते हैं, हमने वो हदीस सुनी थी बहुत बचपन में कि पहले वक्त में पढ़ लिया करो बेटा, ज्यादा सवाब होता है. उसकी प्रैक्टिकलिटी आज देखी है. नहीं वो तो है, वो अपनी जगह पे है यार. मैं सिर्फ इतना कह रहा हूँ कि आम हालात में हमें याद नहीं आती. नहीं माशाल्लाह भाई, मैं इनको नहीं कह रहा हूँ, मैं वैसे इन जनरल कर, मुझे भी याद आ रही है,
बच्चे को पढ़ाने बिठा के भूख लगी.
वही बात है. Okay, I'm installing this. As soon as you install it, then open GPM and see that if you can see Citrix.
If you restart, no, करती नहीं आई
आप जाए तो आए सर्दी
जब भी तो जा रहा वो चलेगा जब भी तो जा रहा
वो नहीं जाएंगे यार ऐसे चले जाएंगे आप
सपोर्ट कर रहा
दो तीन साइकिल खड़े
पुराने कपड़े तो बेचता है
ये क्या बात हुई दो तीन साइकिल खड़े हैं बेच के आ रहे हैं Okay, guys, I'm going to log into my Citrix. That's fine.
रिफ्रेश करो रिफ्रेश
यार रीस्टार्ट उसने जी जी बिल्कुल बिल्कुल हर जगह से Oh. Okay guys, so the issue was that remember we did that in the beginning in Internet Explorer options we disabled that security certificate thing. So in my machine there was, because I reverted them back, so that thing was on. This is why it was taking long time. So it's as long as it is disabled. So this is what I disabled. So if it is taking long time, all you need to do is just go to Internet options and you go to advanced, and right here within here you need to just check this off. Check for publisher certificate revocation. If this is checked off, then it will be Citrix receives, everything will be fast. So now since it is here guys, now our target was to create a group policy on Toronto. So here I'm gonna go to Toronto. So we created this policy called Citrix idle time. We created a policy called Citrix idle time, and then we added it. So you can edit and then go under policies here, and so it's up to you. You can create a policy under computer or user. So here we're going to create a policy under computer. So under computer, you go to the policies, and within policies here, it will load the Citrix policies here on this side. And here, all you need to do, you can create a new setting, or we can use this predefined setting. So here, yes. Okay, okay. Show me. Here. No. Wait. Here. No. Here. So look at this. Nasrullah, can you see who is the user logged in here? Who is he? Who is he? Administrator? Huh?
Locally admin.
Not administrator. Nasrullah. Is it? Okay. Okay, so it's a good experience. Sometimes it's just a permission issue. So you're logging in again? Okay. So here, guys, all you need to do is we create a new policy, let's say, or not create a new policy. Let's use the same policy for now. So just edit the policy, and within editing the policy, the name is unfiltered policy. Or guys, let's create a new policy because we need to change the name. It's the same thing. Same settings will be there. Wherever you are. But the main thing is you should be working with the policy under Toronto. Even on DC, even on server 1, server 2, it is doing the change in one place. Can you see? Are you there? Okay. So here, just right click on this policy. And before even doing that, guys, I want you to see if you're inside Citrix, it's fine. But I want you to see that if there is any existing settings at the moment. Everyone, let's see if there is any existing setting. I can go to settings, and here it shows me no settings are there. So once we do Citrix settings, then in this place you would see more settings here. So here, let's edit this Citrix policy, and then go to the policies here, go to Citrix policies, and inside we are going to create a new policy called Citrix idle time. Let's create a new policy. I clicked on new, and I'm going to say this is Citrix idle time. Now Citrix idle time, and next, just click next on this. Now here you have many policies here. So these are all of the settings that can be applied. So there are all these settings that can be applied on ICA protocol. Now ICA simply means that these all settings will be applied to when user is connected to a session, when user has a session, when user is in ICA. So in this case, you have many settings here. So under this, you have auto reconnect, you have end user monitoring, you have graphics, you have keep alive, and under keep alive, here you have ICA keep alive, or here alive timeout, keep alive timeout. Now in this, let's read this. Let's read this here. Now this setting is about, or before reading this, all we need to do is just select keep alive first. Guys, everyone, select keep alive. यार ज़्यादा ठंड नहीं होगी आपके लिए. Okay, just select keep alive and then click add. As soon as you click add, here it says that for now it is keep alive seconds is 60 seconds. Now 60 seconds, let's see if we are on the right setting or not. Here it's just saying seconds between successive ICA keep alive message. By default, interval between keep alive messages 60. Specify the interval between 1 to 3600 settings in which to send ICA keep alive packet. Do not configure this setting if your network monitoring software is responsible for closing inactive session. If your so guys, this is not the place what we are looking for. This is just a keep alive message. So keep alive message is when the client is connected, having a ICA session, and it's just sending every 60 seconds, every 1 minute, it's sending a keep alive setting that I'm alive. It's just this. It's just like a heartbeat. You can change that heartbeat although you can change the heartbeat. So we're not changing this one. This is not the setting what we need. Let's check the other setting. So here, keep alive. So here it says that here do not send ICA keep alive messages or send keep alive messages. So by default, it sends keep alive messages, and here now with sending keep alive messages, Citrix knows that user has a live connection with this. So if user's idle is changed, then it won't be able to send anything. Let's cancel this. Let's cancel this, and I'll go to here all settings, And in this, let's try to find any setting that has the word idle in it. So you click on all setting, and in search, let's say the word idle. So there is server timer, a server idle timer interval. Now let's go into this and see what this is. So add, and it says determines in milliseconds how long an unintended user session will be maintained if there is no input. So this is the setting that we are looking for. So for now, idle, there is no idle time set up for this, which means that all users are by default set to use the connection as long as it is open. So in this case, let's set it up to 15 minutes, and 15 minutes will be, so 15 minutes. How do we know how many milliseconds will be 15 minutes? So guys, easier is here. I'm going to say convert milliseconds.
1 second, 15 minutes. So in 1 minute it is
15 minutes to
60 milliseconds.
Yes. So here it is this value. So just copy this, and here we're gonna say maybe we can put it 900,000.
No loss.
So here and done. So it is 900,000. Or we can set it to 5 minutes as well. Or we can set it to 2 minutes. Let's set it to 2 minutes so that we can see the effect. So 2 minutes will be 200,000. So 2 minutes will be 120,000. Okay, so let's say 120,000. So we'll go back to this setting, and here we're gonna say 120 and 000, and then done. And here, so we set this value up, just this one setting. Now this one setting, and next, and here. Now here you can further apply it inside. So for now we are applying it to Toronto OU, but here it's saying, okay, if you want to further divide it, do you want to apply it to a certain worker group? Do you want to apply it to a certain desktop group? Now these are these filters are in Citrix. So let's say even in all your XenApp server, there is a special worker group for some server. We all know that worker group. What is worker group? It's a collection of XenApp servers. Right? What is a worker group? It's a collection of XenApp server. So in this case, guys, we are not selecting anything. We're just leaving it default, so it will be applied to everyone. So next, and create. So now it is done. Here, so just next, done. Did you? No, we're not. We're not. I mean, if you leave it default, it will be applied to all the servers. So now here, what we did, we just said that this Citrix policy, and it is a computer policy, and this policy will be applied in second precedence. Now the second important thing is, guys, in Citrix, one thing to remember, smallest the number, higher the priority. So in this, if you have many policies in one OU, then we need to remember smaller number, higher priority. Smaller number, higher priority, which means we need to change it to 1. So we need to change this to 1. This is 2 priority now, which means that this still has the higher priority. So we're going to change it to change the priority on this. How do you change the priority? Just change it to high. So you select the policy and click on higher.
Bring the priority up.
I was right.
Okay, so guys, this is done. Now, for now, in Toronto OU, there is nothing. So it won't apply to anyone. This is just to show you that if there is any, computers in Toronto OU, this policy will automatically apply to this. What we can do is either we can do the same policy on a domain, or we can move our client to Toronto OU. That client. So let's go to DC. Let's go to DC, and within DC, in ADUC. So within DC, in ADUC, Active Directory users and computer. Now, by default, all computer exists in computers OU, in computers OU. So all computers are here. So all I want you to do is move CL01 to Toronto OU. So now CL01 is under Toronto OU, which means the policy that we created for Toronto OU will be applied on this machine. And it will be specially applied to all the sessions on this.
Oh, all the user of log in with this, whatever, even administrator log off after 2 minutes.
Yes, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Guys, let's go through some more policies here. Let's go through some more policies here. Or in the meantime, let's go here, guys. Now on the client side, it is a computer policy. When can this policy be applied on this machine? When it restarts. Or is there another way? Yes, there is. So just before running GP update, guys, let's see GP result. Let's see if that policy is not yet here. So just say GP result. So just say GP result. So in GP result, it shows me
user policy already applied on that user. Just override this policy.
Yes. What?
You're
right. Oh, user policy will overwrite it. Yes. But we don't have anything in user policy. Yes, you're right. So guys, here in GP result, everybody knows how to read GP result, guys. It's very simple. As soon as you run GP result, there are two things to note in this. One is which type of settings are you looking? Are you looking at computer settings or are you looking at user setting? So all user policies will be applied under user setting here. This is user setting. And all computer policies are applied here. And since our Citrix policy was a computer policy, and I don't see it here. /r, GP result /r. Now, if you can, I'll wait for others to reach this point. If you can run GP update, and after running GP update, again run GP result and see if that policy comes here.
Yes, sir,
Applied, right? So now open any session, leave it for 2 minutes, and see that if it will be disconnected or not.
Doesn't matter host or stream.
Whatever.
Yes. No, sir. My applied GT Citrix again time is applied.
So if it is applied here, I'm gonna say GP update. GP update slash. Oh, GP update. I mean, you can do GP update slash force. You can do force as well, or you can do GP update. It's the same thing. Why can't we use force? Why are we not using force? I mean, with GP update, you can say GP update slash force. Why we are not doing it here? So let me tell you the reason. Guys, GP update slash force was used till the version of 2003 servers. After 2008, there is no need for this. No. So after 2008, it is already part of GP update. Force was not there in 2000. Then in 2003, they added this switch. Okay. And in 2008 and above, you just do it in this manner.
No, even if you don't write /force.
It will be forced. It will be forced. If you write force, it's fine. So guys, यार देखो जरा कितने आपके nanoseconds आया होगा. Okay, here I'm gonna say GP result again, and here, and guys, this is very important for interviews. This is very important for interviews as well. They would say, okay, what do you need? What do you know about group policies? So, Shakib, क्या हुआ? क्या हुआ? नहीं हुआ. It's not applying. It's not. Are you sure? It's not applying. Did you move the computer in Toronto OU? Okay. Did you say, do you have a policy under Toronto OU, or you did it on default domain policy? The policy that we applied, it must be. Are you 100% sure that it is sitting here? It's under Toronto. And do you see that in settings? So on this policy, you should be able to see the setting here. Here I see a setting that shows that I have a server idle timer interval is this. So
It's under Toronto citrix idle time. So you want me to check edit?
no, just go to settings. Just click on citrix idle time and click on settings.
You log off after really.
Huh?
Log off.
Why log off?
After 2 minutes, what?
Yes,
Oh,
it's
after
saying-
2 minutes,
the
it.
setting is saying server idle time interval is 2 minutes, 144.
Okay.
I'm just checking.
Okay, check. Now here I can see my policy is applied. Now let me open anything, maybe 7-zip, FileZilla, and we'll start counting time. So time is 8:10, and which means by 8:13 they should be disconnected.
So it should be closing the window, or just we cannot do anything?
I think whenever the session is closed, it will be something like this. Now, when you go to this place, when you go to here, and you go to online session, guys, in Citrix, everyone, in Citrix, this is a very, very important place that is known as Connection Center. With Connection Center, you know how many sessions are in your computer. So if you go to Connection Center, everyone, if you go to Connection Center, how do you go to Connection Center? You can go to Connection Center by Citrix receiver. And here it shows me that I have 3 sessions open. I have 7-zip open, I have FileZilla open, and when a session is disconnected, it will be disconnected from, it will be terminated. So
मेरे last time आ रहा था, अभी नहीं आ रहा है।
क्या चीज?
Connection center।
We are in the client. In the client. Do you see everything here?
Online session.
दो तरफ दिखाता है।
So, we can
So what is not there?
so online settings, online session, then write.
Oh, sorry, मेरा ऑफलाइन और ऑनलाइन प्लगइन दोनों दिखा रहा है।
ठीक है, तो दोनों ही enable होने चाहिए. Okay, it's fine. It's not that important. Maybe you just restart and it will come back. Guys here. Let's say now these machines. It is already 2 minutes and they're not going. And maybe I'll wait for a few more minutes and see. But at the same time, let's go back and create the same setting on domain level, and in user setting. So let's say the same thing. I want you to see the difference between computer setting and user setting. So now go back to server 1. Now let's go back to server 1, and this time I'm going to have domain level policy. And in domain level policy, let's go to edit.
So kind of
Default domain policy. Default domain policy, edit, and then go into Citrix policies under users, and then go to edit, go to unfiltered and edit. This time we're not creating a new policy, we're just using unfiltered policy. And let's find idle time.
So the name is idle time?
Yes. Actually, just find the word idle in settings.
It's gonna be idle.
First we have to give it a name.
Okay, we'll say this is domain. We'll just
You're creating a new one.
so why I thought you were asking me about a new one. I mean, if you're using unfiltered, then don't change the name. Leave it unfiltered.
Oh,
So just leave it unfiltered. Just go to settings, and then go to settings. Search for idle, and here you have idle timer. And in this case, idle timer here, as you can see already, is 1440. Now, what is 1440? Let's see. It is 1440 minutes. Guys, it is 1440 minutes. So let's change this to 2 minutes. Yes. From 1440 to 2 minutes. Guys, remember this setting, or maybe write it down somewhere. Guys, remember this setting, maybe write it down somewhere, because we need to change it back to 1440.
you have to write like idle timer interval or idle timer.
Idle
Session idle timer interval.
interval. So idle timer interval. Idle timer interval by default is 1440, and 1440 minutes. How many hours are this? I think it's days. So 1440 minutes, convert 14
24
40.
240 hours.
Okay.
No, sorry, 24 hours.
24 hours.
Yeah.
So it is 24 hours. Okay, so it means, guys, by default, Citrix will leave the session open for 24 hours. After 24 hours, it will automatically disconnect. Now here, we're changing it to 2 minutes. We're changing it to 2 minutes. So in 2 minutes, if your session is not done, it will be disconnected. Guys, at this point, make sure, everyone, at this point, make sure that we found out the previous policy never worked. Never worked. And now we're working, and I'm going to tell you the reason why it's not working. So it never worked. Previous policy never worked. And here, this policy will try. We'll change it to 2, and then we'll save it. So now this is a priority, and this is user setting. This is on domain, and I'm going to close this. And then I'll just make sure, go to domain level, and here in settings, just expand all and see that if that policy is applicable. So here, undergoing this, and here it shows me that session idle timer on domain. In settings, I can see that this setting is enabled on domain. And now I'm gonna go back to the client, and in client I'm gonna run GP update. I'm gonna run GP update here, and one more time we'll see. As soon as the GP update is there, I'm going to run GP result to see if that policy is applied. So it is done, GP result. And GP result shows me that here, yeah, it is applied because it is part of default domain policy. Okay, so I forgot about that. I thought that it should show another. It is part of default domain policy, yes.
GP update 4/4.
Yes. You don't need a force, just GP update. Now here, since the policy is applied, now let's see, we'll be counting from 8:15 and see what happens. See what happens. So guys, now we have seen group policy on 2 levels here. So going back to Citrix, within Citrix, we can apply Citrix policies based on this, or we can apply Citrix policies based on the App Center. So you can do it in both places. Yeah, I mean, this is preferred also in all of the environments. Guys, there are many reasons why GPO is preferred. Number one, it is in one central location, all your policies. Number two, all the policies that you make in App Center, they don't appear in GPM. App Center stores them in data store, in its own data store. whereas GPM will store it in Active Directory. And GPM policy automatically is replicated to all domains.
So that was always recommended.
This is why it is recommended. It has a bigger scope, whereas in Citrix it has a smaller scope. Although policies and settings are exactly the same, they are exactly the same. So guys, while this happens, now let's go back to App Center and go to policies. Let's see some more things in policies here.
So what you want us to do at client?
On client, just run the GP update. Just run the GP update and just wait and open any application and see that if it closes in 2 or 3 minutes. Anything, open anything.
Host it, only host it.
So after 2 minutes should be closed.
After 2 minutes, it should show you. The session should be closed. But the thing here is, the requirement is don't touch the mouse in this. As soon as you touch a mouse on this, then it is active again. So if you're not doing anything on this machine, so 20 is here, and I'm gonna go to other screen and let's see after 5 or 6 minutes we'll check. Guys, here in policies can be applied to computers or users. Now policies, we can create policies here. Or you can use a unfiltered policy.
You can only through App Center only groups, user, and individual computer, not OU from App Center.
You are in GPM, right?
What is your question?
In App Center, you make a policy only on individual user and computer and groups.
Yes.
We cannot implement on OUs and domain default policy.
No, you cannot. You can't see them. Guys, in Citrix, you can apply policies either on worker groups. You can apply policies either on worker groups or computers or users. 3 places. Whereas in GPM, you can apply policies on OU, site, domain, and all levels. Now, in this case, here, I can create my own policies, and let's click on unfiltered and edit it. And let's see how many other policies are there. For example, we'll go to settings, and I can create a policy on auto client reconnect. Now, auto client reconnect, what is the main purpose of this? The purpose is, let's say you as a user is using this application from ZenApp server, right? So you as a user, you as a what?
User.
So you are in computers policy setting?
I am in
ZenApp policy.
ZenApp policies.
Unfiltered.
ZenApp policies? हाँ बताएं.
Yes, sir.
In computer policy.
We are
In computer policy, I am edit. In computer policy, edit and go to settings. And within settings, I can see the very first one is auto reconnect. Guys, auto reconnect. Do we remember? Do we remember when we tested the streaming application? Everyone, did we remember doing the streaming application? Now, if you go to a client and you are having a session, so let's say there is a session between this user and Citrix. As soon as you disconnect the network card, all icons go away, right? But as soon as you connect the network card, they automatically come back. Guys, this is known as auto reconnect. When the user temporarily loses a connection, the policies automatically is enabled, and it says that for a certain amount of time, it should automatically reconnect without even user's reconnection again. So this is now if you go into this policy and say for now it is allowed, and you can go back and say no, it is prohibited. So prohibited will mean that in whatever case user is disconnected, it should not be automatically connected. User should initiate a connection or re-log in again, or right click on Citrix receiver and log in. So this is where this policy is. So now, so this is one policy. Then you have auto connect, reconnect logging, that you want to log everything, who is logging in, who is automatically disconnected, and all that. Then you have CPU management, you have display memory, you have lot of things are here, and lots and lots of. And this is all settings. And then under here there are two types of auto reconnect policies, which is one is that you want to allow or not allow. Second is, do you want to log all those reconnections or not? And then you have end user monitoring. Do you want to monitor their round trip calculation or not? And then you have graphics, then you have keep alive, you have security, you have server limits. This is the idle time, then you have shadowing. Other than this, you have some licensing policy as well. Other than this, you have power management, server connection limits. So limit user connections per server. We can have this as well. For example, if we go in this, here it's saying that it is basically unlimited. So if you're saying no, on my servers, there should be a limit. For example, here I can say I should not have more than 50 connections on server 1. So I can set up this setting and then attach this policy to a worker group.
Yes.
I can create a worker group, add one XenApp server there, set this policy, there won't be more than 50 connections in there. Now, here one thing to remember. Guys, Citrix comes in 3 versions. How many versions? 3 versions. There is an advanced version, there is enterprise version, and there is platinum version. Platinum version, yes. Guys, the versions are here you can have only 50. If any company buys advanced version, they can have total of 50 licenses. So they cannot exceed 50 licenses. We're talking about concurrent licenses. Citrix only has concurrent licenses. So if they buy this, there will be 50 licenses. If they buy this, they have 500 licenses
Per server.
per server. And if they buy this one, they have 5,000 licenses. So this is the difference. This is how licensing works in Citrix.
Price-wise use difference?
Huh?
Price-wise use difference?
Yes, price-wise there is a difference, for sure. For sure,
So
there is a difference.
if his company has 500 users, so we need 2 server licenses.
If they have total 500 users,
One
yes, they
for
can go
load
with either
balancing.
one enterprise license or 2 enterprise licenses.
So we can use the 100.
Yes.
Even-
So guys, this is now in this case, you can create a policy in here. Now your policy will be something like this. This is your XenApp server farm. So server 1, server 2, and you want to limit number of users connecting to this. So all we can do is we can create a new policy, and this policy is saying 50 users. So this is a new policy. So now how to add this policy to this server? Guys, policies can be applied to computers, users, or worker groups. What we can do is we can create a worker group and add this server to a worker group. I'm going to say this is a worker group 1. And you can create a policy and attach it to this worker group and have a XenApp server. Then you're limiting number of users connection to this server. So this is so guys, policies is not very difficult in XenApp, but here you need to understand that how do they work.
I'm sorry, sir, I didn't understand the last. You said it's not very what in XenApp?
Sorry, what?
Policies is what in XenApp?
Policies are not very difficult to understand. Not very difficult to understand, but what we need to understand is on a piece of paper, you need to kind of understand that how is it connected. If you have a good GPO concept, this is not difficult. The few things that you need to remember are these. So you do have Citrix policies control, and you can see that here in control, you can see a lot of things here. So a lot of settings are here. These are all of the settings. There are no other settings. These are the only settings that you can do.
That's not much in there.
But that's
Windows.
yes, Windows is different. So here these are these settings. So you can apply these settings to control sessions.
And these settings also be used in a combination with Windows?
Yes, why not? Because they exist. So guys, by default, best practice of GPO is one GPO, one setting. Remember the best practice. But in one GPO, you can have many settings. We know that, right? In one GPO, you can have 10 different settings, but then it will be difficult to troubleshoot. So one GPO, this is why even in Citrix, you have one GPU, one policy, one setting. Although I can have this enabled, I can have user session enabled on this one, I can have this one enabled, I can have this one. So you can have 10 different settings in one policy. But then the best practice is that don't combine many settings in one GPU. So guys, this is the policies. Right after the break, we start talking about load balancing and load evaluators. So let's take a quick break. Sorry? Huh? You got a timeout? So which means your policy is working. So, huh? It's not working. So if you, I mean, guys, policies are always hit and try. They might not work the first time. Just recheck where is it applying, and if your client is setting
your domain controller and client as well. That is what.
it is working for you.
Right. Sometimes it do. Yes, sir. Markets job.
यार बेहतर है कि एमसीएससी कर लें लिख दें फिर
एक्सचेंज उसका सेपरेट है
किधर एक्सचेंज
नहीं
70
एक्सचेंज की जरूरत नहीं है करने की
अच्छा
यही कर लें बहुत है
पढ़ ले अलग बात है
क्या पढ़ लें अलग बात है हाँ नहीं पढ़ना तो है हमने कोर्स सबमिट करना है बकायदा वो तो है सो हाउ वाज इट
मैंने सवालों के रटे नहीं
no all questions were from the
everything sir
everything was there
सर ये 413 14 उसमें कौन कौन से टॉपिक हैं
413 और 14 मोर एडवांस लेवल साइट लेवल थोड़ा सा और ऊपर एंटरप्राइज लेवल है कोई जरूरत नहीं है वो सारा कुछ हम पढ़ चुके हैं पहले और अगर उसमें कुछ है भी तो वो एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन है उसकी कोई जरूरत नहीं है ओके सो वी हैव सेकंड पर्सन जनाब साहब ने TCA की है guys give him a hand and also give him a hand यार आपने परसों मुझे किया था मुझे याद नहीं रहा उसके ऊपर वो करने का ये 410 किया आपने 410 एक्सीलेंट भाई
पहला आदमी सर आजकल मिठाई नहीं
आप लेके
आप 410 सर आप मुझे बता दो
यार वैसे वेरी गुड ट्राई फॉर 410 एक्सीलेंट क्योंकि काफी लोग इससे घबराए हुए हैं लेकिन अब आप तीसरे स्टूडेंट हैं जिन्होंने उन डंप से किया और सारे कुछ उसमें से था
46 क्वेश्चन थे
लेकिन सर डब में बहुत बड़े सर 470 डब
और यार ये क्या हो गया यार आपको क्या हो गया यार आपको क्या है दुनिया में कोई चीज मुश्किल नहीं होती जब तक कि आप उसे मुश्किल ना बनाए
ये तो डब तो ना ये तो पूरा डंप कर दिया आपके ऊपर
डंपा हो गया
यार ये हाँ ये मुझे देना फिर ये तो ओरिजिनल है
उसमें तकरीबन 56 के ऐसे जो बार-बार
everyone from now on start keeping a file guys start keeping a binder in which you keep all these and all your certificates as soon as they are coming in have a binder buy a binder from maybe Staples a binder a small binder or from a good dollar store not a smaller dollar store but it should be a professional binder in which we are going to at the end have a resume and under a resume we're going to have all these certificate and transcripts and then all summaries of everything so this one booklet will help you with all interviews so have this binder start making this binder from now on
एससीसीएम का जो रिजल्ट आपको दिया था मुझे मिला नहीं वापस सर
आपने मुझे दिया था
तो बहुत पुरानी बात बोली सर अभी की बात है तो 4 महीने हो गए
आप क्या करेंगे उस रिजल्ट का
तो ट्रांसक्रिप्ट नहीं मिलेगा
एक तो ये है
सर ये तो है तो सर आपके ऑफिस में
कोई बात नहीं यार वो सारा आपने लॉगिन किया
तो उसमें तो सर्टिफिकेट है उसमें रिजल्ट भी आ जाएगा
क्या चीज
उसमें ट्रांसक्रिप्ट भी मिल जाएगी
अभी क्या कर रहे हैं
हाँ सब कुछ है भाई सब कुछ है उसके बाद जरूरत ही नहीं है ट्रांसक्रिप्ट की जब वो आ जाता है ना उसमें that's done ये भी आपका
ये आपको आया होगा मेरे पूछा था
नहीं हम पूछते ही अगर आप संभालना है ना बड़ा ना
So guys, today we were discussing about policies, and policies are very, very important in SCCM.
ये वो है
यार 410 करें यार, क्या हो गया, कभी ना कभी तो करना है, अभी करके फारिग करें यार इसको। जैसे उन्होंने एक सिरे से शुरू कर दिया, बस कर दिया शुरू, क्या हो गया। ये ना सोचे बड़ा छोटा क्वेश्चन ये जा रहे हैं, जितने दिमाग को यूज करेंगे उतना ही ज्यादा तेज आगे काम करेंगे।
टेक्स्ट बुक करा लेते हैं ना सर, जब टेक्स्ट बुक करा लेंगे ना तो फौरन आप देना शुरू करो।
ठीक,
इसका फायदा ये हो गया 500 करने से
अब 200 ज्यादा नहीं लगेगा, नहीं तो बाद में आप उससे हमेशा डरते रहेंगे, ओ यार अभी 400 वाला पड़ा हुआ है।
नहीं तो सब वो
एक ही नहीं आया,
से पास लीडर के थे डम्प्स या दूसरे पास लीडर तो सेम ही नहीं हुआ, दोनों सेम ही है।
ठीक है जी, आप भी शुरू हो जाएं 410 से।
ठीक है
कर दें यार, छोड़े यार, करें यार, क्या है यार, छोटी सी जिंदगी इतनी इतनी मुश्किल बनाई हुई आपने। और यार पेपर करना है, पैसे जमा कराया जाए, करें पेपर, करें, खत्म करें।
इसका ये फायदा कि महीना डेढ़ में जब तक तैयारी होगी सारा डैमेज क्लियर।
क्या मतलब, मुझे समझ नहीं आया।
मतलब ये कि मैंने जितने दिन में मेरी तैयारी होगी।
हाँ अच्छा, ठीक है। Okay guys, let's start. So here today we are doing citrix policies. Citrix policies are very, very important to understand. If you can understand guys how citrix policies work, no matter in whatever environment you are, you will be able to kind of just few clicking, few roaming around within the policies, you can understand where the policy is coming from. As citrix policy guys, for citrix policy you have to have a good understanding of GPOs. So as you can see, you apply a GPO, then see a resultant report, then see how it works. And in some cases, when we applied that idle time, Saqib, when we applied idle time, Saqib, what are you doing? Logging in, okay. फोर
10, 11, 12
हाँ जी 10, 11, 12 करें पहले, ताकि आपके पास MCS से आ जाए, फिर उसके बाद 13 और 14 करें।
5 टोटल रिमेनिंग पीछे रह गए।
हाँ बाकी कर लिया आपने, तीनों क्लीन कर लिया। ओके एक्सीलेंट, बस ये रह गए अंदर से। ठीक, जाने दें। So अब नहीं भेजते, पहले भेजते थे।
पैसे खर्च करने पड़ते हैं।
हाँ अब वही है कि आप डाउनलोड करके उसको रख लें। यार पूरी जिंदगी में जब से मैंने ये MCSE किया था, सिर्फ एक जगह मेरा ये सर्टिफिकेट काम आया है, हार्ड कॉपी की बात करो। वैसे तो तकरीबन कई जगह पे ना आपसे ID मांग लेते हैं और ID से ही वो ऑनलाइन चेक करते हैं। सिर्फ जो काम आया है ना, पता है किधर है, किधर है वो पड़ा वो लगा हुआ दीवार पे, तो ये दीवार पे लगने के काम आएगा। इसके अलावा कोई नहीं आपसे पूछे। ओ यस, सिटीजनशिप में पूछ लेते हैं, या अगर आप मिडिल ईस्ट चले जाएं तो वहां पे वो इसकी शक्ल जरूर देखते हैं, वो हर जॉब पे तकरीबन।
एग्जैक्ट ये नहीं देता, एग्जैक्ट नहीं देता।
मेरा ख्याल आपके बिल्कुल
क्या
मिडिल ईस्ट में बिल्कुल पूछते ही नहीं किसी जॉब पे।
तो आपको प्रैक्टिकल देखते हैं कि वो बंदा कर लिया तो ठीक है, एक हफ्ता चेक करते हैं।
यार मुझे तो, मैंने गवर्नमेंट में जॉब की थी, लेकिन आपने दुबई में की होगी, कुवैत में। मैंने सऊदीया में की थी, तो उन्होंने दोनों जगह पे मुझसे सारी चीजें मंगाई थी, डिग्री और ये और वो और वगैरह वगैरह। करना कराना कुछ भी नहीं था, उन्होंने सिर्फ उन्होंने पूछ लिया था। तो यार जो कुछ भी है हमारे पास तो चीजें पूरी होनी चाहिए ना। वाकई है तो मैं खुद ना चले जाऊं।
दुबई में नहीं, कतर में, आपका पासपोर्ट कतर में। अगर अपना क्रेडिट पासपोर्ट है ना तो दुबई नहीं
कम है यार।
कतर जाए कुवैत जाए दुबई जाए ऑन अराइवल है ना आपको मिलेगा वो जॉब सर्च करवाना
अभी रिसेंट
दुबई
ईयर
में तो भाई दुनिया चले आती है
अच्छा
इजी टू एक्सेस है
ठीक है तो फिर उनको अप्रोच करना चाहिए
आपका अगर पासपोर्ट है तो आप एक महीना जॉब मिलेगी क्यों नहीं मिलेगी टारगेट वो करें यहाँ पे दुनिया नहीं आती दुबई में तो दुनिया आती है
नहीं यार फिर भी बहुत बहुत फर्क है यार बहुत छोड़े कन्वर्जन रेट को नहीं पैसे ना भी हो यार पाकिस्तान के करीब है उधर वो है ये वो वगैरह यहाँ पे तो आप सोचेंगे तो 10 दफा सोचेंगे पहले और फिर उसके बाद जाएंगे ओके
मेरा एक दोस्त है वो एसएपी की एक एप्लीकेशन है नेटवियर में काम कर रहे हैं वो 20,000 मंथली सैलरी
हाँ काफी है काफी सर्विस काफी है लोग काफी है ओके गाइस हियर लेट्स लुक एट दिस let's look at this here so guys here local policies now same thing what we have discussed let's see that in our slides here so first of all group policies the policies citrix policies can be configured from GPO they can be linked to domains organizational units inside this is what we discussed just here that it can be LSDOU before citrix we knew this now after citrix we know that this is LCSDOU. So you have citrix, first local policies are applied, then citrix, then site, then domain, then OU. But then when you have citrix on group GPO level, then they can be applied on any level. So guys, visualize this and remember this, that either it is this or it can be this as well. If you go into OU and apply citrix policies in them. So it can be done from both places. Now, policy evaluation, policies are evaluated when one of the following occurs. So this is why when the policies are applied. So policies are applied, guys. Yes, policies are applied when the user logs on or when the server is rebooted or when the policy is refresh time interval is read or policy update is forced. So this is like GP update. This one is like 90 minutes. This one is when it is rebooted or when user logs in. So those are the same thing as policy. Now, benefits of AD integration. What is the benefit? If Citrix policies are integrated with AD, then number one, backup and restore. So since you are backing up, your policies are automatically backed up in Active Directory, you don't need to keep an extra backup of Citrix policies. If they are in App Center, they are not being backed up with Active Directory. Second one, migration policies from one domain to another. If they are in App Center, you have to migrate them separately. If they are in Active Directory, they are automatically in Active Directory, they will be automatically migrated. Then you have view the resultant set of policies in server and user session. So in GPO, there is something called resultant set of policies. Do we know that on server there is something called resultant set of policies? There in GPO. So in order to see the policies, RSOP, it is called RSOP. RSOP is a resultant set of policies. I mean, if I show you, you will remember. So here, if you go to, now resultant set of policies is used to view which policies are active on any machine. So how do you view it? And all you need to do is this. You can go to any machine and then go into MMC. Go to MMC. Create a new MMC. And then within MMC, just go to File and click Add Snap-in. So just create a new MMC. And then go to File, create Snap-in, and within Snap-in there is something called resultant set of policies right here. So which is right here, resultant set of policies. When you add Snap-in, there is something called resultant set of policies here. This one. So resultant set of policies. When you click Add and add it, so it is right here, resultant set of policies. How did you get it? It's right from here. Again, one more time, you create a new Snap-in and then go to File and add Snap-in. And then, guys, resultant set of policies will just show you how many policies are active on this machine. So all you need to do, right click on this and generate RSOP. And generate RSOP. When you generate RSOP, all you need to do next, done, and finish. Here, now it will show you all the policies that are being applied on this machine. So one more time, all I did was this. I went to add snap-in, and then once snap-in is added, I added resultant set of policies from here. So going down, I added, click add. Once this is added, all you need to do, right click on that resultant set of policy, and then you can see create a report, generate a report. So once you generate a report, it would show you, and once you generate a report, just click next. Yes, next, finish, and it will show you. So main function of RSOP shows active policies on that computer. So main purpose of RSOP is to show active policies on a computer. And how do you open it? In order to open RSOP, all you need to do is this. Number one, open MMC. Number two, you would add snap-in. And then add resultant set of policies. Add resultant set of policies, and then all you need to do, once this is added, then you can right click on resultant set of policies and say generate RSOP data. And then you would just finish the wizard, and then it will show you setup. Guys, here this slide is saying that if your citrix policies are sitting, inside Active Directory, then even resultant set of policies will show you Active Directory policies as well. If citrix policies are not sitting in Active Directory, then resultant set of policy won't show you this report. So here, and then you have the next one here. You can create a delegated administration policies here within AD as well. Now, this is what we already know, the precedence, how the policies are applied. So here you have a local policy, then citrix, then site, then domain and OU. This is what we discussed. LCSDOU. So this is, do we remember this?
Yeah.
So this is how the policies are applied. Now, policy precedence, we already know that if you have multiple policies here, which policy has more priority? The smallest number. Whatever the number is smallest, that has the higher priority, is right here. So smallest number, higher the priority. And then next one here, policy rules. We saw all these rules just now in policy. You can have rules for ICA, licensing, server, virtual IP, and all these, and you will see many rules here. And two of the rules we already use. One is idle time, and second one auto reconnect. And then you can use all these rules.
ICA, not IMA.
IMA is basically these other policies, licensing, server settings. So these are server. You can apply policies on them. So here, then you have filtered and unfiltered. Guys, by default, all policies are unfiltered, which means that all policies are applied in your complete farm. Unfiltered means that the policy is applied everywhere. Filtered means that you want to apply policy on a certain server or a certain user. So filtered means that instead of that this policy is completely applied on a farm, this is your farm. And guys, farm, what is in the farm? Farm has zones, right? And farm has zones. Let's see, farm has 2 server zones, and farm can also have worker groups as well. So here you have worker groups, and in worker group you have 2 other servers. And then same farm has other zone. So this is a second zone. Zone 2. This is a third zone. Why do I have more zones in here? Because they are different cities. So this is Toronto. This is Montreal, but they are part of the same farm. You don't need to create. What is the relationship between a farm and forest? One farm, one forest. You cannot have many farms in one forest. So you have one farm, one forest.
Forest used in Windows, right?
Forest in Windows, yes. When you have one forest in Windows, then you can have one farm.
Structure is same, but name is changed.
No, logical structure is also changed. Here the logical structure in forest, logical structure is different, remember? It is
Forest,
tree,
then
domain, then OU, then users, and here it's totally changed. It is farm. So here it is farm, and under farm you have zone, and under zone you have maybe worker groups, and under that you have XA, then app server, and under that you have policies, load balancing, and all that.
So the common thing is that they are both the most outer boundaries.
Sorry?
The common thing is that they are the outside boundaries.
They are the, yes, common thing is, yes, you're right. Common thing is their logical boundary of your farm or Active Directory. Now here in this case, here you have a farm, you have a zone, and then now policies, thinking about policies. Let's say you have a policy, so I can apply a policy here. So let's say P1, applied on this. P2 can be applied on here as well, on a complete worker group. So you can apply policy either here or a worker group. So this is the same thing here. Unfiltered means that the policy that is unfiltered, it will be applied in your complete farm. So here, unfiltered is right here. So unfiltered means it is being applied everywhere. So this is like your default domain policy. Just like in Active Directory, you have one default. It is for the complete domain. But here, unfiltered means, but filtered means this is filtered. I'm filtering it just to apply on this one. So this is where it says filtered policy. Filtered means that I'm only applying it to this group. So this is what filtered and unfiltered is. Now, policy filtering can be filtered too. It can be completely unfiltered, meaning for the complete farm. It can be filtered. It can be to a worker group, just like we saw here. It can be for users. It can be for devices. It can be IP based, or it can be access control. So you can filter on any in any place.
Access control.
Access control, security permissions, just based on security permission. So let's say some users based on apply policy only on these users, not on those users. So it can be based on access control. Now then, guys, there is something called policy modeling and troubleshooting. Now, when you have all these policies everywhere, guys, when you have all these policies, now this is an important point to understand. So let's say unfiltered means it is for the complete farm, it's open. Filtered means that it is only for this server, and then it is on this server. Now you can have multiple policies on one server. Is it possible? You can have multiple policies on. Let's say you have policy number 1 applied here, and then you have a second policy on the same server, P2 applied on this, and then on the same server you have a third policy. 3 policies are here. Now, how do you know that which policy wins in all of them? So one way to check that up, let's say first of how much? All. First of how much? All. So guys, first of all, if there is no conflict, you don't need to troubleshoot, right? So this policy is doing its own setting, this is doing its own setting, this is doing its own setting, no troubleshooting required, because they are doing their own work. Troubleshooting is only required when this thing, let's take an example of auto reconnect. This one is saying enable it, and the second one is saying disable it, and the third one is again saying enable it. Now, these are just 3 policies. If there are 20 policies, among 20 policies, there are 5 of them doing exactly the same thing in different manner. So how do you know? This is where policy modeling comes in. There is a wizard in this that can help you model the policy. What it does, it will try to run all the policies, and at the end it will show you, okay, precedence 1 is this, second is this, fourth is this. Now, where can you find it? Now, before even looking at it, it says the Citrix Group Policy Monitoring Wizard can simulate a user connection. In order to test the policy settings, an administrator can specify conditions. So basically, it will simulate and show you what is the precedent. Now, where is this? Guys, it exists right here. So if you go here within App Center, So it exists in App Center, and within App Center, you right click on policies. So here you right click, and here it says run modeling wizard. So when you run a modeling wizard, in modeling wizard, it starts from here. It says, okay, where do you want to run? I want to run it in this domain, or you want to run in some specific domain controller. So if it is, I'm saying in this domain, everywhere in this domain, just run this wizard. Secondly, okay, so what type of settings are you trying to check? User settings or computer settings? Here we are saying we're trying to check computer settings, and especially for Toronto OU. I just want to see that how many policies are there and what is their precedence. So here I said that. And third one, so guys, again, one more time. Here. So right click on policies, right click on policy, and then run modeling wizard. As soon as you run modeling wizard, it starts, and right in the welcome screen here, just click next. So you just need to click next on this. And once you click next, it is asking you which part of your domain you want to run it. Only one domain controller or all domain controller. So we're saying in the complete domain. And then next. And here, which containers, which type of policies are you looking for? User policies or computer? So I'm saying computer policies, computer information, and in this specific OU. Or you can run it against the complete domain. Now, the bigger the area you are modeling, the bigger the report will be. So let's keep it. Let's keep built in. Let's model for everything. So here I'm saying computer settings for your complete domain. I'm not targeting just Toronto. So just browse and just leave Canap selected. I mean, you can go down to the level of OU as well. So here we're just browsing the complete domain, and then next here, and in the next screen it's saying that if. So it's again, it gives you more options here. You're saying you're trying to look into CanApps. Do you want to look into a complete domain, or do you want to target any specific IP range or IP addresses? For example, I can say check all these machines, or I can say only check these 3 machines, or maybe only this machine. So you can filter this modeling wizard, guys. You can filter this modeling wizard based on IP, based on name of the client, based on server group, based on machine type, based on other container, and all that information. So you can basically filter this. For now, we're not filtering anything. We're just going here, next. And in the next, it's saying that here simulate the policy implementation of the following. Show network connections and all that. Or you want to run it on specific site. Do you want to run it in your complete forest or specific? We'll say just run it on default for site. Actually, we have only default for. Even if you don't select this, it will run only on this.
So can you do the loop back as well?
So loop back, I think for now it's not enabled because we're not on a DC. I think on a DC you can do that. But for now, let's go with the default and see what happens. So this is what we have selected. And guys, and running, make sure, now what are you doing here? We just want to see the conflicts. As soon as you run it, it is running now. You have run it successfully and close. As soon as you close, now it opens a report here. And it opens a report and it doesn't show any conflicts here because there are no so much policies in there. Otherwise, it would show you computer policies here and user policies here with different precedents. So modeling wizard, basically, if you have many policies and you're not able to troubleshoot them, so you can troubleshoot them manually by looking into each policy, or you can run a modeling wizard that comes with citrix.
Even though we only select the computer.
Yes, even though we select. Now, in XenApp, we never created any policy. Remember, we created policies in GPM. Let's go to GPM and see that if you have modeling wizard in GPM. So if you go to GPM, guys, if you go to GPM, within GPM, let me open GPM here. And within GPM, we can go to Toronto and right click on this and I think there is a modeling. It is right here actually at the top. At the top, it is modeling wizard. It is also in GPM. Now in GPM, you right click, it runs the same modeling wizard from here as well, but this is specially for Citrix. And this will, you won't see this unless you have that extension installed on DC. Remember that we installed that one extension. So that extension, where did we get that extension from? From the CD. It was from the CD. So here you can run it again and then run. Okay, I must select something. So I'm going to select domain and next and done. Run. Let's see. So now in this case, I have some reports. So in this case, I do some policies that are sitting that this modeling wizard went and bring them back. So what are the policies here? Let's see. It has, so if I show all, if you just say show all here. So in show all, it shows you many settings here. So among those settings, let's see, what are we interested in? So it actually is showing everything within this domain. So let's look at this one. So guys, here, just go down here. Here you can see there is something called issued to, then issued by, and expiration, intended purpose, or winning GPO. Or if you go down here, guys, just go down at the end.
So you click on
No. I right click here and create it and finish this wizard. You must finish the wizard, then you can select canvas. Then this will appear. You did it? You finished but you don't have canvas here?
I do have it now, but it's not showing on this one.
Just my two.
What? You don't have it? Open GPM. Yes, it's empty. Oh, it's still running. Wait for it to finish. Yes, click add. So right here, right click on this. Yes. And no. Hold on. So no, you already ran it actually. So show me. Click this and now run this. And then once it runs, next. And here,
No, domain.
okay,
Domain
so
shut
maybe
down
you
again.
did that. So just go down. And here I'm looking at this policy now. Yes. No, it is still going on. See there? Yes. So show all. Guys, if you look at the end, so look at the end. Guys, right at the end, if you see everyone. Okay, guys, here, look at this. It's fine, it's just taking time. So guys, while you're waiting, everyone, while you're waiting, look at this. So look at this here on the slide. So guys, here, this is a Citrix policy. Now the main thing this modeling wizard is showing you which policy is winning GPO. So it would compare many GPOs, and it would, among all the policies, it would say that this is a winning GPO. So that's the only thing I want to show you. So even in real environment, now if you remember, if you remember, we made it in the beginning. This GPO was not available from before we made it, and we made it when we made this GPO when we were trying to do the sessions. session side. When we added, so yes, I mean it was the first step. Now this is not important. What do you see? But this is what the modeling wizard does. Now if you go here, it says the Citrix group policy modeling wizard can simulate the user connection and such as it can specify conditions from all these different places. Now, guys, after Citrix policies, the most important thing is load balancing now. So now policies work like this. Now policies will work with the load manager. Now what we are looking at, guys, so going back to App Center, what we are looking in App Center on this. Go back to App Center, and now we'll be looking at these two things, load balancing and load evaluators. So two things. Guys, both of these things combined with policies, they control the load in your Citrix environment. Both of these we combine. Now in this, there are two things here. So, grapher. यार ये क्या है यार क्यों है
छुट्टी बंद कर दिया
आधा घंटा एक्स्ट्रा बिठा दिया
यार आप तो ऐसे छुपा रहे जैसे दुल्हन को छुपाती हूँ क्या हो गया यार आपको कहाँ पोस्ट कर दो क्या FBI को देना है मैंने क्या हो गया यार आपको हैं यार नहीं आ जाएंगे इंशाल्लाह क्यों नहीं आएंगे यार
आपकी तो नहीं कहती तो पीछे बस खड़ी कर दो अहमद भाई इधर से बस का भी मजा
ओके
आप ट्रेन खड़ी करेंगे अबे मिठाई करो
W11 होगी ना
तो ये आते गाड़ी से हमारे पास
okay guys look here so here load balancing policies, load evaluators. Guys, they both work together and the both function is load managing load. So we remember it in logical manner. So both purpose is load balancing. Now rules are here, policies here. Rules are here. Load evaluators, remember the word evaluator. It evaluates the load. How does it evaluate the load? It will evaluate the load based on either CPU is high on a machine, maybe RAM is up. So just if you can remember it in logical manner, you don't have to, you don't have to press hard on your brains to remember evaluator. This is evaluating. And whatever this evaluate, based on this evaluation, load balancing will balance the load. So load evaluators and load balancing, they both work together. Now let's see. If you look under, so all of you, if you look under App Center and then go to load evaluation, there are two basic criteria of load evaluation. There is basic and there is advanced.
User session count.
There's no basic. Advanced and
memory usage.
Sorry. As the default is known as basic. So
advanced is like hardware based and default is user based.
TMS 2 months. यार मिस करूंगा यार क्या यार आप क्यों
आगे ज्वाइन कर लेंगे
ये साहब भाई की तरफ फोन पे आपसे
अल्ताफ भाई तुम क्या नाम है अल्ताफ भाई की तरह फिर शेर पे सुनाएंगे गाने भी गाएंगे
हेलो आवाज आ रही है जी भाई जी नहीं भाई नहीं नहीं भाई ये डिजाइन नहीं भाई फुल ड्रामा चल रहा है
यार क्लास उर्दू में करा सर
ये हो रही है उर्दू में कहने
बराबर बराबर
So guys, load balancing, there are two things. One is advanced
वजन
load
बराबर
evaluators,
वजन बराबर
and the second one is default. Now, default load evaluator is attached to all servers. Default load evaluator is attached to all the servers. Now, here we can say this evaluator is already attached to all servers. Now, based on this, main function of this is that how many connections should be sent to which ZenApp server. Now, basically, this is your environment. So this is my ZenApp server 1. This is my ZenApp server 2. And here I have a client machine. And client machine connects to the web interface. So this is my web interface. And from web interface, it goes to the ZDC. And on ZDC, these policies are working on ZDC, on a controller. So on ZDC, it has two things here. So it has a load evaluator. So it has load, I will call it LE, load evaluator. And load evaluator, by default, it is working on a default. So what it does, this load evaluator only has few policies, not so many settings. So the few settings are this. So guys, if we look at this, so load evaluator, it says the default load evaluator uses the user session count for its criteria. It's just using some basic setting. Now, going into a bit detail, what is it using? So default load evaluator, if you go to information and if you go to, so it can evaluate load in two different manners. It is usage by application or usage by server. So load evaluator, here is of two times. For now, we are looking at default. So default load evaluator, it can evaluate load based on application or based on server. So it can evaluate in both cases. So based on applications or based on servers. So here usage by apps or usage by servers. Now what is usage by apps? Usage by apps is if you click on usage by apps, so here it says it would show you all your applications in your ZenApp environment, and here it would show you if these applications are being load balanced by load evaluator. But guys, you would see that there is no load evaluator attached with them, which means by application there is no load balancing happening by default. By default, there is no load balancing happening because there is no load evaluator here. Now, if you look at by server, in server, you would see that the default load evaluator is attached to both servers. So this default load, this is saying load evaluator is default. You can change it to advanced as well. But for now, which means by default, this is not working. This is not functioning. So here we can say this is not applicable by default. Although we can attach load evaluators to each application as well. But by server, yes, it is working. So here in our environment, we have two servers. So it has server 1 and we have server 2. And to server 1, we at default is attached. Default is attached. Now, guys, this is actually so this is the first thing to understand. So first of all, load evaluator is just used to find the load on a server. That's the only thing. It is actually a monitor that is attached to both of the servers. And how do I know only the default is being in use? So guys, we can go to load evaluator number 1, and then I can go by application. I have these applications. You might have more applications, but there is no load evaluator attached to them. So which means in this environment, by application, there is no load evaluation. Although we can do it, but there is no load evaluation.
Right.
But by server, I have default load evaluator attached to this. So here I have default load evaluator attached to this. Now you can go to the server. Later on, we're going to change the load evaluator on this. But for now, we know that. Now the big question is, what is it doing? What is in the load evaluator? What is the criteria that it is setting? It is checking the load. Guys, the very first criteria of this is that this is based on user sessions. So by default, it is based on user session. So by default, here it is saying the default load evaluator uses user session count. So meaning, as soon as the first user is connected, it says the count is here 1. And if it is 1 and it is 0, then it will send automatically the second user to. So second user goes to web server and the request goes to here. Load evaluator will say, oh, the count is 0. It is bigger than this one. So this second user will be sent to this place and this will be 1 again. And same goes for third. Then the count will be increased on the first one, and so it will balance the load. This is why it is saying load evaluator uses user session as a criteria. So this is a default load evaluator. I mean, if let's say I want to attach it to my application. So in my application, do we have any load evaluators in the application? No. So which means, let's say I have an application called Notepad++. I have application called FileZilla, and they don't have any. But if I go, for example, now if there is no load evaluator, guys, these applications are being randomly given. So they're, first of all, they're being balanced here. If, let's say, if I start getting complaints for FileZilla from people saying, oh, FileZilla is very slow for us, and some other user would not complain. So what you can do, you can attach a default load evaluator with this. Now, what is in default? Only user session load evaluation. So what it does, as soon as the first user connects to FileZilla, that user will be connected to the first server, and second will be connected to the second. Now, this is already happening here, but this is you're doing on additional basis. So again, it will apply the load evaluator on the. It is already being applied on server, but then it will start applying on application basis as well. For now, there is no load evaluation on application.
You just right click on the application and attach to the load.
So we'll see that how it is done. But for now, just leave this as is because we need to test this out. So guys, other than this, what other settings you can use? So if you go to current settings, and within current settings, actually it's let me make it bigger screen. So right here, so here these are all of the settings here. So if you go to default load evaluator, it says rules are all these. Now you can have rules based on, so for now there are 2 rules here. There is only 2 rules enabled. Guys, just make a bigger screen. Just make a bigger screen and move this up. Move this up. You can open this. And right here, in this default load evaluators, you have many types of other load evaluation you can do. It's right here, yeah? Right here. So just make the screen bigger. And now you can select this part and then rules. And then this. So in this, we have just this enabled and this enabled. So this is it. So you've done it. So just make it bigger. Sure. So now the 2 things that are open are both. Yeah, it won't. Then select this.
वो डिफरेंट नहीं होगा
We are the only two rules here are enabled.
देखिए
So just server rule and then this is throttling rule. Fine. Everybody's there?
download करें
Are you not there? Huh? Okay, excellent. So guys, now let's understand. So one more thing, guys. One more time. So now what we are doing is load evaluation. It's very easy. Is it easy? Is it difficult? Guys, it's really easy to understand load evaluation. So load evaluation is already there. Two types of load evaluation. How many? Two. One is default. Second is advanced. So default is only on two levels. Default is doing, so first of all, user rule level, and the second one is enable throttling level. So throttling level, this is also there. This is impact on log on load. Guys, first of all, let's understand this. Guys, first let's understand. Guys, let's understand this. Guys, understand this. So whenever one user is connected to one server, it automatically sets the load on this server to be 100. This is what the value says, 100. As soon as one user is connected to this, it will show you 100 value. And if the value is 100 on this one, then it means that on this server, it is fully loaded. So this is what it says, full load is equal to 100. This is what is considered as 100. Now, as soon as the second user comes, it says, oh, the load is 100. So what it does, it will send the user here, and this will become 100 too. And then likewise, it will keep on adding 100 and 100 and 100, and it is how it knows. So 100 means full load on a server, and then it goes to the other. Now let's look this up in action. So how does it do this? First of all, you're here. Now, if I need to see the real load on my server, there is a command that we can run, and that command to view the load, on NetApp server, and that is qfarm load
slash load. Form slash load.
This is on the DOS prompt. Just open DOS prompt is, what is the command?
Qform
Slash load, I think. So this is Q, actually, just to verify, citrix qfarm command. So it's right here.
So it shows 0, 0, 0, 0.
Yeah.
Qfarm, right?
Yeah.
Qform slash load.
Qfarm slash load. So we can just say qfarm slash load. As soon as you slash load, guys, it is showing you that on server 1, it has a load of 100. Why is it showing server 1? Because I am connected to server 1. So my session that I'm connecting to server 1, it means that server 1 is fully loaded. Guys, which means on any other client machine, mine is showing 0. On both of them?
Yes.
So you have no session active on client machine, that's why.
You have both 0, which means your both servers are available. Guys, the simple understanding is, as soon as one is 100 and the other one is 0, it automatically means the very next session that is connecting, it will connect to which server? 0. Server number 2. So this is why when we were testing our streaming application or hosted application, it was automatically going to the second server.
Mine is 200.
200 0, so you have 2 sessions open on that.
So how come it didn't revert to the other?
Maybe it was not available. Guys, let's do this. What happened? You're not running that command? What happened? Okay. So guys, what I want you to do is, everyone, just go to the client machine and open a new session. Just go to the client machine, and in this machine, just open a new session. So just go to calculator and open. So you opened a new session from a client machine. All I did, just go to the client machine and open and come back to this location and rerun the command. Now, as soon as you run the command, I can see that on both servers I have a load. So the second one has a load too. Now, let's see that is it doing auto reconnection? Sorry? No, it doesn't mean that. As long as they have session hosts, they should get connections. So just start. Which one? We have 3 servers. Yeah, I don't have 3, but I should change it. Where is the session? What do you open on the client? Do you have a worker group here? Maybe you have a worker group and the other servers are in other worker group. So let's go to that. This is my this is second server, right? And here, why do you have so many app centers open? So that's why it is showing so that's fine. Now in servers, I can see you have 3 servers. Let's see worker group. Do we have a worker group? Worker group, yes. Your one server is known in this one.
User connection.
And your other server is here. So for now, what we're going to do is we can create it later. Just to see that it can balance out. Because leaving the worker group, I will put it in one worker group by default. I think that might be the issue.
कितनी एप्लीकेशन?
Do you have worker group?
मेरे तो सारी एप्लीकेशन
Yes, I do.
So it doesn't remove the worker group.
Sir, we opened multiple applications, but still showing 100.
Yes, just showing the load on them, and then it will start.
But it keep showing 100.
It will show 100. It will show 100 unless we change it to advanced.
Mine is 200.
So it will. I mean, you just keep on refreshing. It might be a bit slow. So here, now we can go to find and run. Yes. Let's go here. This is not a secret. Is this secret?
Seriously?
It's going on in the same. It's going on one server. Maybe because this citrix it doesn't understand that there are other servers too. What we can do is maybe you can restart this client and see. For now, it's not load balancing. For now, it's not load balancing. One more thing we can check is going back here, and then we can go to here. Let's open that from some other server. Do you have?
डेस्कटॉप वाली खोलोगी ना तो लोड बढ़ जाएगा. डेस्कटॉप वाली को तुम ऑन करोगे तो तुम्हारा लोड बढ़ जाएगा. डेस्कटॉप वाली खोलो. No sir, now after 2 many make it more.
यहाँ पे नहीं है citrix नहीं मालूम.
जी sir.
Oh, there is no citrix delivered. But there should be a citrix. No. Hold on. There should be a citrix. There is a citrix. No. It will load balance by default, but somehow they're not taking part.
तो वो unknown
I think it maybe it's just a matter of restarting these servers. They're not taking part. They are not taking part. They're not taking part. I just restarted them. Maybe just restart them and then they should automatically be load balancing. Yes. Yes. Load throttling is when the first user is logging in. So when any And when you go there, it's opening. So the time it takes to log in is throttling. Okay. So if you open a session and quickly come back and read on it, you will see a throttling, and then it will go back to zero.
Yeah. I opened so many applications.
Yes, and it is zero.
First time it displays.
Yes. It will keep on growing. But here for now, in this case, it's not load balancing. It is all connecting to your one machine. Hey, it was there? It was on there? Okay, it was. Yes, it's fine. It's fine. So guys, there are two things under this. One is, so in this default, there are two things being checked. There is something called throttling. And second one, user session. Guys, there are two things here. So one rule is throttling, and second one, it's right here under this. So if you go here, this is one rule. This is called throttling, load throttling, and second one, user session. Now user session, we already know user session is number of user sessions. Now throttling is the time it takes for users to log in. The time it takes to user to log in. For example, so here I can say this is time it takes user to log in. User session. The time it takes to log in user session. Now, what is this? Guys, what is it? This is when the user opens a session, when this user, when the user is sitting here, so I'm explaining what is throttling. Throttling is this. Guys, everyone, throttling is it. When the user opens an application, at that first time, it will do the login process. So it goes here. We know that ZDC and ZDC send an LDAP packet to DC. Remember, domain controller, it helps in authentication. So that time that it takes to authenticate this user is known as throttling. So how long it is taking to throttling. Now, as soon as this is happening for one user, it automatically places a value under throttling as high load. So it will show a high load on that server, high load. And high load meaning 5,000 value. It is a value of 5,000. So first time when the user logging in, it would say, so first time user logging in here, it would go into throttling and put 5,000 here. And as long as this 5,000 remains on this, all other logins will be sent to the second server. If they can, if there is a second ZDC, then they can help in authentication. So basically, no, actually it's not authentication. It will send other sessions, other application sessions to the other server. So two criteria are there. Now, if it is not throttling, it will keep on sending user session here. Let me show it to you how it works. So let's see. I'm on a client machine, guys. Let's see this. So I'm not logged in. Let me completely log off so that I can remove all sessions. And how can I remove all sessions? I can go into the connection center. I do see some session. I have session from this receiver. I have session to both servers. Here I can say disconnect or log off. So I log off from one server. I will log off from the second server. So you logged off from both servers.
On the client?
On the client, yes. So meaning first time.
Where we have to click right?
On Citrix receiver. Or you can completely log off from that machine. It will do the same thing. Or you can completely log off from that machine. It will do the same thing. Now let's say, so there are few ways to log off. One is that user, for example, if you're troubleshooting a user session on a client machine, you go to a client machine and the user is saying, you know what, I'm not able to open this application. What you can try is you can right click on Citrix receiver. Within Citrix receiver, you can go to online session, and there you should see a connection. Now that connection you can only see if there is a session open. If there is no session open, you won't see that. Now, first of all is this. Now, based on this, for now, I don't have any session from user. So I'll go back on server 1 and check my load here. Let's see, check load. So on see both servers shows me 0 load because there is no session open on these servers. Now, as soon as I go back to the client, guys, look at this, look at this. Look at this for a second. Look at this for a second. And then I'll let you do the lab. Just look at this for a second because you'll miss this point. So everyone, so for now, I have 0 load on both servers. Now, I'm going to show you throttling in action. For now, under throttling setting is 0. When do you see the value? You will see the value. Let's say if I go here and I double click on this. If I double click on this, at this time session is happening. And if I go here, I see 5,000 on here. Now this 5,000 is because this is waiting for user to log in. This is waiting for ZDC to help authentication, and 5,000. As soon as I do it again, once it is done, that load is gone. So that load you will only see, now you will see this load in the morning in companies. So when at 9 a.m. all of the users are logging in, you would see different loads on different servers, and also based on this load, throttling load, users are also sessions are being divided in other servers.
So this 5,000, what it indicates?
It just indicates that this server has a full load, go to the other server. It's just saying this. This 5,000 doesn't mean that there are 5,000 users. This 5,000 just means, as you can see, it was 5,000. Just after a few moments, it went back to 0. This just means that on this server, this is busy, go to the other server.
So server load is scaled to 100. This is scaled to 5,000.
Because it is a throttling value and this is a user session value. So here, I mean, even in this case, there are no 100 users connected. There is only one user connected. So this is Citrix own manipulation of numbers. So Citrix is using 100 as full load when the user session is, and when so as long as the session is on, you will see 100 on this second server. But as soon as I go to the screen and close this, so I closed it. But guys, if you go back here, you will still see that 100. Why are you seeing that 100 again? I closed this. Why do you still see that 100? I'll come back to you. Guys, here, just here. Because, guys, this is that auto reconnect policy. It is not completely closing the session. It will leave the session there for 15 minutes. If the user connects again, so the user can open it quickly. If you totally want to get rid of the load, then remember we changed that idle time to 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, this will be automatically gone. Or I can go to the client machine, and within client machine, I can go here and then go here, and completely disconnect this user. I would say log off. As soon as you completely shut that load off, so as soon as this is gone, and if I go back here, you would see in few moments that 100 will be gone as well. So it is logging off. As soon as it is logged off, it will be gone. So it's gone. And if I go back here, I see that now both are empty. So default load balancing is only done on 2 rules: throttling and user session. So this is default basic load balancing.
Like throttling, if this server, like everybody using at the same time.
Yes. Then both will show 5,000, and it will keep on dividing it. It will keep on dividing it. It will keep on. I mean, this number will be increasing. So if I can show you all load values. Now here, right here, guys. Right here, guys. These are evaluation numbers used by these rules. For example, the numbers between 0 and 999 in normal range of loads. And numbers between, if the number is 99999 within the load evaluation, it means no load evaluators are configured for those things, those servers or applications. If the number is between this 10,000, it means the server is under heavy loads. If the number is 20,000, then license mismatch. So if you see these numbers when running qfarm and you see these numbers, so which means if it is 5,000, it is a normal range of load. So from 5,000, it will go to 5,001, 5,002, 5,003, 5,004, and then it will keep on dividing that load among this. Guys, main function of load evaluator is just to divide equally the connection between the two servers. And as soon as the load is off, it will remove the numbers. Right? Okay, so one more time. Now, if load evaluators are used to find out which server has more load and which server has less load. If we use a default evaluator, although we have two types of evaluators, we haven't seen an advanced evaluator yet. If you use this default evaluator, it just checks the load on two bases. Number one, user session basis. Number two, throttling basis. As soon as one user is connected here, it's very simple. The second user will go here. Third user will go here. Fourth user will go here. If you have 5 ZF servers, it will divide among 5 servers. And secondly, at the same time, while it is using user session, at the same time, it is also evaluating the throttling as well. How much time it is taken for user to log in. So it uses its own number. And if you ask me, the question is, does these number mean something? Yes, guys, in citrix, they mean something. These numbers have some messages. Do we need to remember what these number means? No, we don't need to remember. Because who needs to remember? Servers needs to remember. So inside a server, these numbers are automatically configured. As soon as it sees the load 100 on users, it means that this is full load, go to the next server. And then the second user, it will be 200, then 300, then 400, then 500, then it goes on. And on throttling number starts from 5,000, which means that there is no 100 value in throttling. The throttling range starts from 5,000 and 5,100, 200, 300, and so on. So too. But guys, if you go into advanced settings, so this is what the big difference is. In advanced, you can evaluate the load on many different factors. For example, in advanced, I can measure the load on CPU. So how busy is your CPU? So in advanced, now you can go into more granular level. In advanced, I can measure. So in default, I can measure load on two bases. It was user session and throttling. In advanced, I can go more deeper level. In advanced, I can measure load on CPU, on memory usage, on swap file usage, and on many other rules. So it is on many other rules. Now, where are these settings? Guys, these settings are right here. So if you go to the same place, and if I go to here, load evaluators, and within load evaluators, for now, I've selected default. So for now, if you are in load evaluator here, where is my load evaluators? It's right here. So you go to back to load. So just click on information and go back to load evaluator. So just from here to here. So it will show you both of them. So just select load evaluator on this side. And then on this side, if you see something else, just change this to information and back to load evaluator. You would see both of them. And then select advanced level. Guys, advanced level, first of all, read the definition. So Sami, read the definition from your computer, please.
So I can read.
Yes.
Advanced load evaluator to limit memory usage, CPU utilization, and
page swaps
on a server farm.
On a server farm. Load management, guys, it's really easy to understand. I mean, here you see load evaluation, and load evaluation by default it was default. But if you want more granular load evaluation, now my question to you is, why would you want a advanced load evaluation?
For server resources.
For server resources, or maybe for larger farms where you have huge number of users and less number of servers. So you have let's say 10 servers for 10,000 users. And guys, when you have huge number of people, this basic load evaluation might not work because you have huge number of users. It is only applying for now two rules only two rules. But when you have huge number of users, you might want to have 5 or 6 rules, just like Canadian immigration. In Canadian immigration, it used to be, for now it's 20-point system, right? Is it 20 point?
Yes.
It is 20. It used to be long time back, the people who came in 70s, there was no point system. They used to give them just immigration, just apply and go.
67.
Huh? It is, sorry, 67. Sorry, it's 67. 67. Guys, this 67-point system, why do they have an immigration system? To shed the load. So first of all, they're saying, okay, you have to be educated. You have to have English experience. You have to have this and that and this and that and this and that. As compared to 70s, when people came here in 70s, there was nothing. There was no point system. So
before
2000
is also no point system.
Even before 2000?
No point.
Okay, so they had this.
No, there was.
There was a point. There was. I'm talking about long time back. So long time back, there was no point system, which means that there was less load in Canada. So if this is Canada, there was less load. People this much were coming in. And now in Canada, there is huge amount. So we can say in 70s, they were using default load evaluators, first come, first basis. Whoever is here, give him immigration. And now, since there are more points. So this is the same thing between advanced and default. In advanced, now you are checking CPU and memory. Before you were just checking how many users are connected and what is the login process. But when you apply advanced, now you're saying, no, we will check this and this. Also, we are going to see that how busy is the CPU and how much RAM is there on this machine and how much swap file memory is there and all that. So advanced is only used in large places. Is this understandable? Okay. Now let's see what are the rules here. So if you select advanced, then go to current settings. And within current settings, now you will see that there are more rules. There are more settings that you can do. For example, let's look at this. First of all, let's look at just the advanced values. So here I have, just the enabled values. So I have this is enabled, CPU utilization is enabled, and which means that if the number when it checks, it is 10 number, it means that there is no load. And if it shows 90 number, then it means full load. If you apply this load and it says that on this the CPU number is 90, which means the next session will go to the second server. So it starts 90 means full load, 10 means no load. And same goes for the second. It has the load throttling rule as well, just like in default. It also has a memory usage rule as well, again 10 and 90. It also has a page swap rule as well. Now page swap rules, guys, this is swap. Do we remember what is paging file?
Yes, sir.
Paging file in Windows.
Yes, temporary memory.
Holding
Excelente. Good remembering. Paging file is a helping memory for all machines. Do we remember that?
Yes, sir.
Paging file. Guys, in citrix and in VMware, both use paging file. They just change the name. They use it as a swap files.
It's like a transit.
Same thing. No, it's not only a transit. It's not only a transit. It's something like this. So remember that computer formula that we started with. You have input, process, and output. And then there was a role of RAM. What is the role of RAM? It's a waiting area. So RAM is a waiting area. No, brain is this. Train, waiting area, train. So here inputs are going here. They are being piling up here. And most urgent requests are going to CPU and CPU is processing them. Nowadays, this doesn't even matter, but they work on the same formula. Nowadays, we have kind of supercomputers in our hands as compared to the earlier computers. These are supercomputers with quad-core processor. Guys, swap memory is for non-urgent changes, non-urgent. So you have something running. So what it does on computer, it creates this file that is known as paging file. And this file, so all urgent tasks are going here, but all the other helping files that are also needed will be sitting in paging file. For example, when Windows is running, what do you think? How many files are running in the background when just Windows is running? Guys, hundreds of files, hundreds. Cause guys, I mean, each and everything what you do in moving this mouse requires some instructions. Start button requires some instructions. Showing these icons here requires. So all that helping information, immediate information is sitting here, and helping information is sitting here. They both work together. Guys, it is said. It is what? Said. It is said. If your computer started using more and more paging file than the RAM, it's time to upgrade your memory. So the concept of paging file is the same in Citrix. So this swap file is the same thing. Here, if you see a swap file setting, if we go back here, if you see this swap file setting, guys, if this swap file setting is high, it means that your computer is using more memory. Now, if this is high, what is the meaning of this? If paging file usage is high, it means that you have smaller RAM, because it will only be high when you have less RAM. If you have more RAM, it will never be high. It will be normal. So this is how we measure it.
Where we can see the paging file size, like it's high or low.
So first of all, where is the paging file size, guys? Paging file size always sits in your C root drive, C drive and root folder. So basically, there you will see, if you unhide all of the files, you will see a paging file there. And most of the time, paging file is equal to the size of the memory. So if this memory is 16 GB, you will have one file in the root of C drive, 16 GB. Is this understandable? But guys, interview question is, I'll come back to your question, but interview question is, what is the best paging file size? What is the best practice of paging file size?
More than RAM.
It is more than RAM, but what is the precise answer? Yes, 1.5 of memory. The interview answer is, it is 1.5 of your memory. Good remembering. Very good. Do you remember it from before? Okay, good. So here, guys, we also discussed it. Okay, excellent. Guys, sometimes they will check you on this, especially in virtualization, maybe in Citrix as well. Then what is the default paging? What is the best practice of? Okay, default is when paging file is created, it will be equal to this. But the best practice is it should be 1.5 of this. So basically, it should be 16 plus 80 plus 8.
24.
It is 16. So best is 24. Now, by default, it doesn't keep. You need to change it. Now, going back to your question, that where can we see the file? In the root of C drive. But how do you know how much is used? Guys, in order to see this, you need to open perfmon, performance monitor in Windows. In Windows, you would go to a performance monitor and you would see that in what is the load on that file at the moment. So,
This paging file is distributed everywhere.
No, just the C drive. Just the C drive.
No, C drive in every
In
Windows.
all computers. All the computers.
Linux calls it swap, just like
Yes.
Windows. And then Mac also calls it swap.
Back?
Mac.
Oh, Mac, yes. Mac. Yes, they all call it swap file. Guys, wherever you see the word swap file, basically it's the same as paging file. Okay, so guys here. Yes. Performance monitor. Okay, guys. If you need to see, first of all, see the paging file. It's right here. So first of all, go into C drive, and there is your paging file. There is your paging file. See this? How big is the paging file? So here, paging file. Here. No, it is this paging file.
So
Here.
file and folder.
Here. Huh? What? You don't see it?
No, sir.
Abid can see it. Abid is wearing glasses. Okay, guys, it's hidden. I said it was hidden. We need to unhide it. And how do you unhide it? All you need to do is go to organize and then go to folder and search options
View.
and then go to view, and here you say show hidden files, number one. Number two, also say unhide system protected files. So two things, hide. So this is just uncheck this option as well. You found it?
Yes, I found it.
You found it? Okay, it's here. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. You go to view, and then under this there is show hidden files, and then right here another one, hide protected file. Just uncheck this one. So two options to uncheck. So once this is done, and here you would see a paging file. So now do you see paging file? Check what Saqib is looking at. You saw it? No, uncheck this one. Hide protected system file. This third one. Yes, this one. Just say yes. And now click OK. And now here you would see this is the last paging. So guys, paging file is here. But this is just showing you the size of paging file. Now, how much it is used, you need to open Performance Monitor. So in order to open Performance Monitor, we need to do this. Saqib, do you see it? Paging file, Azhar? So here we need to open, go to Administrative Tools and open Performance Monitor. So just open Performance Monitor, and within Performance Monitor, you can go here and see the performance. So here it shows you many counters here. Now here, what I'll do is, first of all, I can see only one counter here. This is just CPU being.
Need to add.
Now we need to just click this green plus, just click this green plus. And then right here, under this, you need to find where the counter is. So basically, I'm looking for paging file right here. So paging file, it says usage and usage peak. I'll add this, so add both. So you would select this paging file and add. And once it is added, you would see right here, it would say usage. So usage is this. So in my case, paging file is not much used. So here you say usage, and here it says the total usage is 0.80%. You added it? No. Show me permission. Yes, it's right here. Go up. Paging file. And we add it.
Change the color as well.
So here basically this one.
Change the color.
Usage
You
and
can find.
usage. So here it's yours is in use 6.4%.
हाँ ये इसको ऐड करो. तो ठीक है इसको
So
color भी
this is
change
how
कर
you
दो.
see paging file.
But how come mine is zero? It's not utilizing anything?
Yes, it kind. So it's keep on. I mean, mine is 0.80. It's nothing. It's equal to nothing.
So change the color you can find easily. Change the color. Change usage. Double click and change the color.
It is changed.
The color.
This is the usage. So it's showing 0% in use. Yes, I mean, as soon as you start opening application, doing stuff, this will change. Here, right here. So minimum average. So for now, if it is 0, it was never calculated. So here it is 0, here it is 0. In my case, it's showing something. So what is it showing? No. Here, so this is the use. Added. No, it's fine, guys. Guys, don't worry if it is not showing you anything. Maybe it's just late. It's just a bit late. So guys, here, as you can see that it is said, according to Microsoft documentation, if this average number is more than 20, it means you need your paging file is used too much. So as you can see, this number is not actually equal to exactly what your percentage is. It is its own numbering. So your thousands and thousands of inputs.
Change with bar, you can find.
Yes, you can find this as well. So if you change it to bar from here, where do you change it?
Double click on the
Here?
paging down.
Double click on this.
Down.
This one?
Second one, wherever.
Okay.
Third one.
No, sir, उसी को double click
Oh,
करना है।
here. Histogram?
Yes.
Are you sure?
So down.
It's fine. I mean, this server, guys, there is no load on these servers. So guys, this is how we. So, good question though. Okay, here, guys. So going back to citrix. What happened? Huh?
You need to change color as well.
So for now देखें इसका average 0 है. अभी इसमें वो information का आपके पास value. It's fine, but it will collect some value. कैसे चल रहा है?
ठीक है सर, तो ज्यादा हो गया शायद।
देखो
सर, इस सबके दिल की आवाजें बोल नहीं रहे, मुझे पता।
क्या छोड़िए? अच्छा, माशाल्लाह, very guys, give him my hand. Excellent. He quit smoking. नहीं यार, ऐसा डिस्करेज नहीं करें।
इन्होंने छोड़ दी थी कि दोस्त की याद में पियेंगे। वो यार लकी मतलब दो पीता था अपनी
यार छोड़े यार, नजर लगा दिया ऐसे नहीं यार, encourage करते। Okay guys, here look at this. Guys, today we covered as follows. This is very, very important, guys. As you can see, all these people who missed this lecture, I don't know how they are going to cover this, but each and every day is very, very important for us. Each and every day is very, very important for us. So I am uploading videos as well. So the more you do the video, you will be able to do the custom lab. There will be a custom lab at the end. So we are at load evaluators. We're going to continue with load balancing. And policies in the next lecture. So today we did some policies. We also saw GPM. We also saw F-center policies. It's not very difficult, but it is very important to understand them to the depths, to the basic level. And then we started with load balancing, load evaluators. For now, we haven't seen load balancing yet. We will see it later on. But for now, today we saw load evaluators. And within load evaluators, we saw default load evaluation. Now, next time, if somebody asks you how load is being measured in Citrix, you can remember that Citrix has load evaluators. And load evaluators are by default there is the advanced and default. By default, it is just using the default one. And default is using only two rules. It's just two rules. One is throttling and one is user session. User session is whoever logs in. Throttling is when the user is logging in. So that is throttling, when the user is logging in. And then if you need to go to advanced can check on CPU, and then it can check on memory, and then it can check on swap file. You can have more rules on them.
What the user session does,
throttling is just that when the user logs in, it will add a value of 500 to this server. That's it's saying that on this server user is logging in, go to the other server. So
how the other one? User session.
User session is if one user is logged in here, this will show you the load of 100, and then it will send it to the. If you have only one server, then it will just keep on increasing by 100, 200, 300, 400, and so on. So guys, this is to load balance your environment. This is your load balance your environment. In policies, remember this. And then difference between Default and throttling is your, just like in any immigration system, they have now numbering. They never had numbering before because there was less load. Now there is more load, so they need to check more things on individuals. So guys, with this we'll pack up for today. We're good for today. Just finish the labs. Just finish the labs, and
Are you going to put these videos to?
do you need this video?
Yes, sir.
Do you?
Yes, sir.
I thought nobody watches these videos.
No.
No, especially the class one. It's too long. Somebody said that they are 3 hours and we don't have time.
No, I'm not talking
Somebody.
about 3 hours video. I'm just the other one, like, you know.
The smaller videos.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make a smaller
Yes.
video, and now till now you have 10 videos to follow.
Yes.
So 10 videos till last lecture, and I'm gonna make 2 more videos for these, for policies and those. So once you do these videos in 2 different labs, I think this will be good experience.